It's story time with Norman, and I've got another story to tell you, which is a little bit different. A little bit different in a couple of ways from normal internal audit engagements and results. So this dates back quite a few years to when I was head of internal audit, the Chief Audit Executive or CAE at Tosco Corporation. And I had this lady. She was one of the three internal auditors that I had reporting to me at the time. And she had tremendous skills, but especially personality. And she had this big charismatic presence. And that enabled her actually to get a lot more done because she was able to connect with people. People liked her. People liked talking to her and sharing. So when it came time to assign an audit to her, I picked one which I deliberately designed to make myself happy. The vice president, corporate vice president in charge of the Treasury function, was this individual, Craig, that was tall, skinny, somewhat older than me, and never smiled. He was always a grumpy guy, complaining the whole time, and very widely respected and the favorite in many ways of the CFO, because he's very good at his job. But at the same time, it was difficult to be around him. And when I assigned Laura, this lady, to do the audit of Treasury, I said, you've got two tasks. One of them is to assess whether the Treasury function is doing what we need as an organization to manage our funds and to work with financial and operating management to run the organization for success. That's the first objective. The second one, I want you to make him smile. I want you to make him smile. I've never seen him smile, and everybody I've spoken to says the same thing. He's just a grumpy old man. So Laura did the audit, and we met in Craig's office to review the preliminary results, what's going to go into the draft audit report. And he smiled at her. Okay, so that's the first objective of the audit accomplished. The second one was rather interesting. Laura had found that everything was very tight, everything was very well controlled, and complying with existing policies and procedures, and doing exactly what we needed to do, except for one thing. So if I dial the clock back a year or two, Tosco had been in severe trouble, very severe trouble, so much so that it had to divest itself of multiple serious assets, other refineries, other operating activities. And that wasn't enough in that kind of market, which was very negative for oil refining companies. So cash was very much at a premium. So much so that Craig would lead with the finance people meetings once in the morning, once in the evening, to make sure we had enough cash to get us to the next meeting. Not even the next day, but the next half day. And that was very, very important. One of his responsibilities was taking the cash that we had at the end of the day and investing it to generate a little bit of income. Overnight deposits. These were typically securities that are being offered by the bank, maybe Treasury or something else that would be held for a very short period of time. And the companies attitude towards this was we couldn't afford to take any risk at all. So they were invested in the most secure securities available. But that time had passed. We were now doing very well, making good money. We had actually invested and acquired other operations. We had now a very active trading organization that used futures and derivatives, options and such, to hedge its purchase and sale of crude oil and finished products. One of the people in the Treasury function actually did a little bit of speculative trading with the oversight of the CEO. Tom O'Malley had a trading background, and he personally oversaw that, so the risk was being covered. But still, the company's, if you like, attitude towards taking risk was no longer quite so conservative. So, as Laura and I pointed out, what Craig was now doing with the overnight was inconsistent from a risk-taking perspective from what the company was doing in other areas. And maybe it was time to reconsider the company's policy about investing excess cash and put it into still safe securities, but those which would actually generate a little bit more income. Craig was initially reluctant, and then as we pointed out the kind of things that the organization was doing, he said it was a good idea, that he wasn't going to commit to it, but he would talk to the CFO and decide whether they should change the company policy and what they invested. As it happened, when he talked to the CFO, Jay, they decided to, yes, this was the time to take more risk, because it was the kind of risk that should be taken in this environment. We could afford to take it. We needed to take it. The potential for reward overwhelmed the downside risk that we were concerned with. And so the company was very grateful to Laura and myself for making this recommendation to take more risk. Now, I don't know how many internal audit departments are open to recommending taking more risk, but certainly that is one attitude that I was able to take successfully in this situation and in others, which I plan to talk about in the future. If you like this video and this story, please subscribe. And my website, normanmarks.wordpress.com, has details about all the different books that I've written, including Auditing That Matters, which I believe, if memory serves me right, has stories like this one and others. Anyway, thank you for listening, and may your God go with you.